So we've seen it that Hillary Clinton is not courting, nor the half of the Democratic Party is not courting the progressive wing of the party. They're not courting the peace wing, the anti-war wing, which is the same wing. They're not courting the environmentalists. In fact, they're still smearing them, just like they smeared Bernie Sanders. You know, he's a sexist and he's grumpy and he's in it for himself. You know, all that stuff, right? So they're doing that to the Greens now. So instead of reaching out to the left, in fact, Ted Rall wrote an article in Counterpunch. He says Hillary's strategy, snub liberal Democrats, move right to nab anti-Trump Republicans. That's her strategy. So I've repeated this before. I've said this before. I'll say it again. You should not pledge your vote to Hillary Clinton. You should make her come get your vote. She's not doing that right now. She thinks you have nowhere to go. She's being more accommodating to right-wingers than she is to left-wingers. If that's okay with you, go ahead, pledge your vote to it. My whole point is people say, I'm going to hold my nose and vote for Hillary and then hold her feet to the fire, which sounds like really bad negotiating tactics. My point is you hold her feet to the fire now. You get her to come over now before the election, and then you hold her feet to the fire by saying, look what all that stuff you said. That just makes way more sense than pledging your vote to her now. Okay. So I'm reading a Ted Rall's article, and he said he makes a great point that this is probably a losing strategy because he says, not counting caucus states, over 13.1 million people voted for Sanders. Conservatively, 15% of those burners, just shy of 2 million voters, currently say they won't vote for Hillary Clinton. So 85% of people who supported Bernie Sanders says they will support Hillary. 15% said they won't. And that comes out to 2 million voters. Ted Rall goes on to say, extrapolate those results to the approximately 66 million Democrats who turned out in the 2012 general election, and you get 10 million voters who won't vote for her. That's what Ted Rall's saying. Remember this. Here's a great point he makes. Barack Obama beat Mitt Romney by fewer than 5 million votes. So he concludes, based on her move to the right strategy, Clinton advisors believe they can get more than 10 million Republicans to move to her from Donald Trump. In other words, nearly 20% of the Republican general election turnout in 2012. It's a risky strategy. That's the one she's doing. It's crazy. I hate it. You hate it. I hate it. I say make her come to the left, come get our votes. She's not coming to get our votes. You know, she's calling Bush donors. That's what she wants to get. She appointed Tim Kaine, who's pro-TPP, pro-Hyde Amendment. Anyway, so Paul Krugman, who I have said before really embarrassed himself shitting on Bernie Sanders this campaign in aid of Hillary Clinton. Now he's telling Hillary Clinton no right turn. This Paul Krugman wrote this on August 5th, and he says this, and this is a good reason. I like Paul. So he's back on track, Paul Krugman. He says Trumpism is basically a creation of the modern conservative movement, which used coded appeals to prejudice to make political gains. They used coded appeal, meaning they used the Southern strategy, dog whistles, appealing to whites' fear of the darky to vote for them. So that's that code. They coded. Right? Coded appeals to prejudice to make political gains. They then found itself unable to rein in a candidate who skipped the coding. So Trump doesn't use dog whistles. He uses just whistles. He just goes, rapist. Mexicans are criminals. Right?
Human whistles.
He just uses the, yeah. Muslims are bad. Okay. So Paul Krugman says, if some conservatives find this too much and bolt the party, meaning Donald Trump's not using dog whistles, if they find that too much and decide to leave the party, he says, good for them. I'm with Paul Krugman. Yeah, good for them. Yeah, your party, this is what you're left with. This is what you did to your party. And he said, and they should be welcomed in the coalition of the sane. Okay, so if Trump is too much and you want to leave your party, we welcome you into the coalition of the sane. But he says, they can't expect policy concessions in return. When Dr. Frankenstein finally realizes that he has created a monster, he doesn't get a reward. And Mrs. Clinton and her party should stay the course. That's what Paul Krugman says. So by Hillary tacking to the right, she's rewarding these people for being maniacs. She's rewarding them for creating Trumpism. She's rewarding them for doing 40 years of the Southern strategy. When you tack to the right and you go, okay, I'll do some of your, we're going to get the TPP done. Don't worry about it. I'm on your side. That's what this is. And Krugman now has come to his senses because Bernie Sanders is out of the race. And he's telling her, don't do this. That's a bad idea. Don't tack right. Ted Rall saying the same thing. Losing strategy. Guess what? Hillary's going to do it. She's a bad politician. They have bad strategy. They still think it's a smart idea to still keep crapping on progressives and Bernie Sanders supporters. They think and Jill Stein, they're now smearing. There's now a concerted effort to smear Jill Stein, that she's an anti-vaxxer. No, she's not. That she said Wi-Fi hurts kids. She didn't say that. She's talking about cellular phones. So these are all smears. Jill Stein is a graduate of the Harvard Medical School, okay? And she doesn't take that corporate cash. And, of course, they're going to smear her. Oh, she's crazy. She's this. She's worse than Nader, I saw somebody say. So I'm with Paul Krugman. By tacking to the right, Hillary Clinton is, in effect, rewarding the crazy policies and the crazy politics of the right wing. She's going to do it anyway, no matter what. So get ready. Here it comes.